Hey everyone, welcome back to Flow State Reactions. I am Starry and I'm here yet again to react to The Lord of the Rings. And this is the behind the scene appendices for Return of the King. Okay, I just finished watching several short videos and that was just so fun. It was such a joy. And now we're just moving on to, I think this is, what is it? Let's see. Want to be sure. Yeah, Cameras in Middle Earth. So it's pretty long, so I'm just going to get started and watch as much as I can and finish it up later, okay? All right, you guys. Everybody relax and let's flow.
Welcome to part 6
Hi, Billy
of the
Boy.
Appendices.
Oh, Pippin.
Parts 1 and 2 was Fellowship.
I said he was married.
3 and 4,
He's Pippin.
The Two Towers. 5 and 6, right here, Return of the King.
It's a pretty big,
He's married.
extensive DVD. There's lots of things that you're going to enjoy.
On this disc, you'll find
I
documentaries
did say he
sort
was
of
married.
documenting
Okay.
the beginning of production on Return of the King
Dominic is
until
married.
the premieres, until sort of the last road.
This is essentially everything that happened while we were filming the movie. You know, stuff backstage, basically. The
Oh,
good stuff.
okay.
The juice.
The
If you want
juice.
to watch this as one massive documentary, and it is massive.
It is
You can
massive. I
press
agree.
Play all. In which case, it will play them all
Play
in
all.
order.
I love how they have to
have
teach us how to
over
play
3
the
hours just
DVD.
now.
This was
If you
years
want
ago,
to
though,
see
so
individual features,
maybe they
you
didn't
press
know
the index.
back then.
That will refer you to the table of contents, and that'll get you on your way.
If this is me watching this, if this is you, Billy, then, wow, look how young you look.
If this is
It's kind
your
of amazing. This is sort of the last film, so I think that there is greater significance to some of this footage.
That's it. This is the last one. So, you know, get a hanky and call your mum up.
Get a hanky.
Because this is the final installment.
Oh no, I don't want to
of
cry
Lord of the
again though.
Rings.
So
enjoy
I'm not gonna do
enjoy.
that.
And hopefully we'll see you all again in some fashion.
Do not make me cry.
Just remember, the fellowship carries on.
And remember, do get out of the house occasionally.
Occasionally, but I do not appreciate them warning me to get a hanky. What? I will not be crying again. I was trying to hold back those tears. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I usually like close my eyes and smile, and that usually like keeps it back. But
everybody thinks of The Lord of the Rings by this stage, obviously, as this one big film shoot,
Peter.
which is true. The principal photography lasted 14 or 15 months from the end of 99 all the way through 2000. The initial plan was to start with Fellowship of the Ring for a while. In fact, we didn't really plan on doing any Two Towers or Return of the King until the following year, until the year 2000, about 4 months after we started shooting.
okay.
That plan actually changed because of the floods that happened in Queenstown.
Oh,
What was it? 100-year flood. People were rowing the streets of Queenstown, you know, it was underwater.
Because
yeah, I
of
remember that.
we couldn't film any of our exterior sequences that we were meant to shoot that week.
We're thinking we're all the way down here in Queenstown.
Yeah.
We have to build some kind of set for wet weather cover.
Okay.
The biggest space that we could find in Queenstown was a squash court in a
Squash
hotel.
court.
This hotel.
Squash.
It's a hotel. It's awesome.
The only set that we could actually build that was sort of the right size to fit to the squash court was a set from the third movie of Frodo and Sam and Gollum on the Curithangol stairs.
Oh.
So that is how we arrived at shooting the very first scene from film 3.
Get
The
out.
scene we were
I am
doing
outdone.
was, in a way,
They just
one
threw
of the
together
most
an
intense
emergency
scenes
set.
in Return of the King, where Frodo basically sends Sam home.
It was
Yeah, I
the third
didn't like
film.
that.
That was the first time that we jumped away from the first movie. We hadn't done anything from any of the other films.
I frankly was scared to death that I didn't have what it took at that moment, and so was Elijah.
Why?
My first reaction was, "There's no way.
Why?
No, we can't. No, we can't.
Why?
It's got to be something else we can do."
We both actually took our case to Peter. Peter, listen, we're a little, I think we thought we were going to try and talk him into maybe filming it the following week so we could get our heads around it. I don't know if we were going to read the script again or do more push-ups or I don't know what we were going to do.
Two more push
I think what's really wonderful about that is
I see.
he had the utmost confidence that we would get there, that we would
I
be able
see.
to deliver
Because of the
exactly what we
lines.
wanted.
Duh. Like,
Now,
it's like,
even
this is a
though
whole new
we
script.
felt
Like,
we were
we're
slightly
not ready for
unprepared,
these lines.
that ultimately
Okay,
we would
that's
get there.
fair.
The scene on the ledge was due to be shot over 2
Because
days.
they're learning
so
the script for
I was
Fellowship
gonna
of the
have to shoot
Ring.
one of the
You
boys
know.
on one day and one the other. And I remember we basically flipped a coin because neither of them wanted to do it. And I said, okay, The winner is Sean Astin.
All right. You just startled me. A very important detail of that scene was that it was the first scene that we actually shot with Gollum, without Andy Serkis. And at that point, Andy Serkis had not been cast.
So Randy Cook, the director of animation, was standing in a black polo neck sweater and a beard, looking very suave and kind of James Bondy.
There were a lot of new elements at play during that sequence, looking off to Gollum where he wasn't there and dealing with that for the first time.
Yeah.
God, that must have been bizarre.
It was very bizarre. And it took a while to get off, get away from the initial nervousness of having to jump into something like that. Dog, get out of here!
And through the fear of failure and the commitment to deliver, we did it. We did it.
You did it, yeah.
Got all of Sean's coverage, essentially.
And then the following day, we were going to come back and shoot Elijah Wood's half of the scene. But of course, what happened the following day is the sun came out.
Oh, okay.
And we were going to take our chances and just go outside and
Right.
keep shooting Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
We asked the owner of the hotel if we could leave our set standing in his squash court.
Because it would be a real pain to dismantle it and come back with it again. And the proprietor was kind enough to let us do it.
And yeah, we just did a little contract with them, and Bob's your uncle.
What happened then, which was miraculous considering it's in New Zealand, in the south of New Zealand, is for the next 5 or 6 weeks, right up till Christmas that year, we didn't have a single day of rain.
That is so funny. So it just sat there in the hotel?
And the Christmas break came and we still hadn't shot the other half of the ledge.
Wow.
And then in January, when we came back to work after Christmas, we were actually way up in Matamata, like hundreds of miles away, shooting Hobbiton. And this scene, the second half of the Ledge of Cirith Ungol then sort of was one of these scenes that was like an albatross around our necks.
It was always that good old theme we'll get back to and finish one day.
They said 1 year later. I'm done.
Of course, what happened is that we didn't end up going back in that squash court to finish that scene until December 2000.
So essentially, people of Queenstown were without squash for over a year, which, is one of the many sacrifices.
Really? You just left it there for a whole year?
Exactly
That is
1 year
outrageous.
After we had shot Sean Astin's half, we finally got to shoot Elijah's half, which was the most weird and unusual way to shoot this scene.
Yeah, but it worked.
Carry it for a while.
And so when you see that scene in the movie now, when it cuts between Sean and Elijah,
It's different years.
You're jumping the span of 1 year.
That's
It's like time
outrageous.
travel, really.
It's outrageous that they had that squash court on hold for a year, too. Because, come on. I cannot.
Keeper's daughter, but she managed a pint of my ale.
Wouldn't it have been
The Isengard scene where Merry and Pippin are
less money to just take the set
drinking and
out
smoking
and then just do
reverting
it
back to their
later?
full sensibilities was shot on set in Miramar at 3-foot-6 studios.
Stand by to light those pipes.
We're smoking our pipeweed, whatever pipeweed may be, whatever Tolkien was talking about.
Long bottom leaf.
I'm sure it has some sort of effect, whether it's tobacco or some sort of weed. So, how high are we?
They're such a natural combination, those two guys. So they played that in a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
Where we'd be slightly drunk,
Welcome.
very drunk, slightly high.
That's so funny that I didn't even consider the fact that they were high.
The one that
I
ended
thought
up
they
in
were
was sort of
just,
the
that's
mildly
just their
inebriated
personality.
version, which is probably more appropriate for a PG-13
Very interesting.
film.
Welcome, my lords.
So you have come here for information.
Even though I would see them smoke the little pipes, but it still didn't dawn on me that they were high.
The final sequence with Saruman and
Wow.
Gandalf and Theoden. It was one of these things where basically you had to shoot the Fellowship side of it at one location and the Saruman and Wormtongue side at another location.
Oh.
For the Fellowship, and that was all part of the wet set that we'd built.
Yeah, you just lift your bow up
Right.
and blast an arrow up past the camera, right?
Mm.
Right?
Practice for nothing.
Good job.
We will do check shortly. Stand by, please.
The Saruman and Wormtongue part of that scene, that was actually done on the back lot back at Stone Street.
Which I may say we shot in the car park.
And cut.
In a gale. So that was not a wind machine. Poor Christopher, there was a very high wind, I remember. And I can sympathise what it's like because I wore a very similar long white wig as Gandalf.
What really helped in the shooting of that was that it was basically one of the first days that Ian McKellen was there, and he basically, along with Bernard Hill, read all the lines off camera. Christopher.
Saruman, your staff is broken. Oh.
So I started to go into this long explanation about what sort of sound he should make when he got stabbed.
I seem to recall that I did say to Peter, have you any idea what kind of noise happens when somebody is stabbed in the back? And I said, well, because I do.
Oh.
You see, it's not, I like that. It's because the breath's driven out of your body.
He proceeded to sort of talk about some very clandestine part of World War II.
He used to be in the British Secret Service, whatever they would call the OSS.
He seemed to have expert knowledge of exactly the sort of noise that they make, and so I just sort of didn't push the subject any further.
Okay.
I just said, well, you obviously know.
Well, thank you, sir.
So
we appreciate your input.
He did.
Now, when we did this,
Really?
I just went, like that, and went out of frame, and Peter said, okay, cut. And I thought, so it's fine. And I thought, wait a minute, he's never said that before.
Oh.
Surely it must be something more.
Ah.
So they devised another ending for me.
I love the idea of Saruman landing on a spike, and I love the imagery too of the wheel sort of rotating. It almost felt appropriate to the character too, in the sense that he finally died on the machinery that he'd created, and it felt like sort of a just way for him to go out.
It's like, we're not going to push that any further.
The scene we're shooting today is...
They are just telling us so much.
See people of Rohan sort of celebrating their recent victory at Helm's Deep.
He wanted to have lighten the mood of the film in some places, and so we had this drinking scene.
So it's a drinking game. What exactly is the point of that?
Legolas is a slightly better drinker than Orlando, judging by that.
You know, everything's so pure with Orlando. Like his breath smells of flowers.
I always think of Orlando as being like a thoroughbred or a sports car, that you can't just put anything into it.
If you put any alcohol near it, it's just done. It's done. I mean, even Elijah can be a bit drinking.
It's true.
But I'm a total lightweight. I think I feel something.
That is funny.
A slight tingling in my fingers. I think it's affecting me.
He said even Elijah can beat him.
What did I say? He can't hold his liquor.
He wouldn't just give the lines that were on the page. He would also, improvise and give 3 or 4 other things off the cuff.
Oh, yes, that wolves that go swimming with little hairy women.
Improvisation is, by its nature, 97% garbage.
Give me another one.
You try things, you do things. Sometimes they work, and sometimes they just make a mess. Sometimes they do both.
Sometimes they do both. Touche.
It was Fran and Philippa who wanted Merry and Pippin to have a song. I think they were great supporters of Merry and Pippin, to be honest.
The kind of athletic kicks that Billy does down the table was a tribute to his girlfriend, who was a ballet dancer.
They used to get them to do high kicks up and down the room. She said basically they would just be going down this room. And it just makes me laugh, the thought of all these little kids doing high kicks.
Yeah?
Hey, that's good. That's cool, isn't it?
It's going to be great.
That's a great shot. Oh, it's good. It's a great shot.
So we're out of here. We're on our way to Q stage to do the close-ups from the same scene. We're going to line those up before lunch. We will be shooting after lunch. Thank you, folks.
The Morgul Crossroads was shot in a forest near Wellington. It was just in a scrubby bit of farmland. We picked it because it had these interesting shapes of these trees that had sort of splintered and split. Waiting for the cloud. Waiting for the cloud. It can be rather distressing at times like this when you're sitting waiting. I kind of think at some point it'll be better to have lunch.
One of the greatest thrills I had kind of offset, if you like, was during the filming of the Mortal Vale sequence where Gollum's leading past the statue of the Gondorian king.
To our surprise, Sir Edmund Hillary visited that day.
Sir Edmund Hillary's about to come down for lunch.
Okay.
All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. You had a good tour? Edmund Hillary is the first person to climb Everest in 1953. I mean, he's a genuine hero, one of New Zealand's greatest heroes. We were filming a scene down here, but we just want to come for lunch.
And being a mountaineer myself, he's always been a massive hero.
You're a mountaineer?
I read books about him when I was 7 years old.
Andy Circus?
Pleased to meet you.
Look at Andy. Pleased to meet you.
I was kid, he's a schoolboy.
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, what's the first thing I'm going to say to the first man who reached the summit and returned from Everest? And I was, so how was it? How was the view? You know?
On Everest, as they were making the final ascent, he'd just get up before anyone else was awake, and he'd go and carve the steps in the ice all the way up to the next camp. And yet here he was on our set. I remember sort of walking down the hill on this rather slippery, muddy hill, and he's an old man now, obviously, so I remember rushing forward and wanting to grab his arm and help him down, because I thought, oh my God, I hated if Ed Hillary slipped and hurt himself while he was coming to visit us on set.
Yeah.
It was a true honor, I think, for everybody to be in his presence. I mean, he's on the New Zealand $5 bill. A gift from Peter Jackson.
These new $5 notes, the plasticky thing.
Yeah, it doesn't take the ink as well.
Doesn't take as well. No, this is the second edition, so to speak.
Ed's actually a big Lord of the Rings fan. Ironically, the book was actually published the exact year that Everest was climbed.
Peter Jackson is
Oh,
now
really?
a huge favorite son of New Zealand.
That is ironic.
And I just love the fact that Edmund Hillary came to visit Peter Jackson.
And so to see them both, these two titans.
Two titans. Yeah.
So it was great.
Listen. Too good. Two titans sitting together, chilling. Like, yeah, we're pretty amazing. Love it.
One of the fun things to do on a film is to create an illusion, like in the scene in the steward's tomb when Denethor grabs Pippin and he throws him out the door. That was in fact Fawn.
Fawn being my scale double, and she
Oh,
rolls
fun.
towards camera, where I am lying, and as she hits my back, I pop up.
These clever camera people were
Oh.
quite excited about it. It's a very simple old trick.
And it just happened about the third time we tried it. It was just perfect.
Look at
And
that.
it just worked, and people was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
so we'll do another couple just in case." But it was easy as that.
Yeah. Very interesting. I love that.
Denethor had to be kicked onto
Mhm.
the burning
How
pyre
good was that?
by Gandalf's horse.
But I knew there was not a snowflake's chance of how the horse was going to go anywhere near burning maggots. I looked at it and thought, it's going to be very, very complex trying to put all that fire in, did you?
Right.
So I got them to set up a glass at 45 degrees to the scene and lit the fire over to the side of them against for a lot of blacks. So the only light coming from over there is from the fire. And it goes into the reflection and gets reflected from the lens as well as the lens seeing through the glass.
So when you look through the camera, it looked like all these huge flames that are actually over here
Oh.
are actually reflected in the glass.
Look at that.
on
Right.
bonfire behind. So it looks like this big bonfire that's happening in front.
So it looks like
Yeah.
the table's on fire. It's absolutely right.
And those flames are in the final film. We didn't
What?
need to enhance them at all.
You don't even enhance them. I'm done. Wow. That is spectacular. They don't even enhance the flames. It's just all reflection.
I figured out that that's probably where I should do my cameo in this particular movie.
Your cameo. Wait, what?
I mean, obviously Peter's had a few cameos, for one in each film.
And it didn't stop there, of course, because everyone else wanted to do cameos suddenly. I think everyone thought that they can finally get to be in Lord of the Rings, and this was one of their last chances.
It became this thing of like, well, who's going to be in this? And it
Did
turned
you
out
guys tell me about the cameos? I don't remember
and Richard Taylor,
Peter.
had one workshop.
Anybody pointing out that Peter was in as a cameo.
Supervisor, and Pete, obviously. And I kind of mentioned, it'd be kind of fun to get a cameo. But before we shot this whole thing, we had a quick training day.
There was a possibility that they were going to be firing arrows, so Peter wanted them to, at least know how to hold it, make it quicker on the day. So I got this bunch together in a car park, and we went up on a hill and had this expert archery chap and lined them all up and had lots of practicing.
Oh, really?
Get your fingers open. Okay, no.
That didn't work, Rick.
Now, the other
You've never seen so many dysfunctional people in your life. Fortunately, the defence of our nation didn't hinge on the qualities of the archery of these pirates.
Tammy Lane did my makeup, and I had this really cool, black wig. It's just like, I used to have hair like that in the 80s, except it was a bit more like a mullet than this thing.
Viva la raza!
I remember the mullet days.
Transformation that Richard went through. It was just unbelievable.
Richard was actually quite pale at that stage. He'd been working so many hours. And to suddenly tan him
Oh,
up
look at that.
into this swarthy
Oh, so a number of them got to be have cameos. So funny.
Richard didn't even look like Richard. Half the people didn't recognise Richard.
That morning, I invited Tanya and our son Samuel to set.
I was thinking, gosh, where's Richard? Where's Richard? And suddenly, here he was in front of me, and I'd been looking at him the whole time and hadn't recognised him.
That's good.
What they did with Peter is that they gave him
His own wife didn't recognize him.
Not every director would just, would go through this kind of stuff, but he loved it.
Wait, that's Peter?
He did look pretty fantastic and very funny.
Well, I tried to go on set because I got to think about what the hell we're going to shoot.
What is happening?
I have no idea what we're shooting, but this has been quite fun.
On the day that we were shooting it.
Oh my God.
The minute you get not only the director but the DOP and various other people, things slow down a bit just because there's a lot of hooning
It's
around going
fun.
on.
Yeah.
The king and I, didn't it?
Look at him. Look at Peter. What is even happening? Oh, they are just having too much fun.
Prove that he's better
I love it.
behind the camera being director of photography than being in front of it.
Andrew was nervous, Rick Porras was nervous, and it was very funny.
You seeing them behind the camera, and then all of a sudden, when I look at the pirate ship and see that they're all actually in front of the camera.
Look at Peter!
It does make you say, oh my God, how are we going to get through this day?
Peter,
I cannot. I'm just outdone. I'm beside myself.
Had to look menacing, and Gino, being Gino, was struggling with menacing.
So I remember I just doing this. Pete's going, and he goes, all right, let me go take a look. And Pete would run down from the ship, look at that, and then he'd come back and he'd be going, Gino, what are you doing with your mouth? I'm going, well, that's kind of like my fear attack kind of grin thing. It makes it look like you're smiling. Just keep your mouth shut. It's like, great. There goes my acting career.
It was actually
He's like, I'm menacing. No, you're smiling, sir. You're happy.
Arrow fire! Oh, that's it.
Just kept thinking Joe Cocker because he was just doing this kind of move.
Arrow fire!
I mean, I felt quite heroic, actually.
That's Peter.
We'd like to be a stuntman on films. And
Oh my God, I'm looking
doing
for
this
him.
and realizing that all the girls on set are looking at you with an admiring sort of gaze, because you're just throwing yourself down.
Yeah.
It's little
Look at the
surge
picture of
macho
them. I cannot. Look how
pride
short Peter
sort of
is
through the set.
compared to them. I didn't realize that.
Well, today, we're filming one of
That was
the
good.
seminal
I loved
moments
it.
for Sam's character when I prepared to do Mortal Kombat with the Great Spider.
Oh, Lord. How much time we got left?
Pete would describe what he wanted out of the scene. He would act it out.
You will not touch him again as a challenge. And then you could almost use a fire. Come on, let's finish it. Kind of make it kind of like an invitation to scrap.
Yeah.
Come on and finish it.
Yeah. An invitation to scrap.
Peter came up to me and said, "I bet this is going to look great when it's all done." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "But you can't really see the spider." And I just looked at him dead serious and said, "Well, I see it. I see the spider."
Okay. Yeah.
That's good. Great, Sean. Let's do another one. That's cool. Very good. Another one. That's great, Sean.
There's a shot of Shelob coiling up Frodo in the web,
Yeah.
and Sam's arm comes into the frame.
Yeah.
It's like a gunslinger shot, a sort of a Clint Eastwood sort of, hand slides into the side of the frame.
That arm, I wasn't there the day they filmed that shot.
We had a stunt guy dressed up in the Sam shirt. And I was watching them filming this on the monitor on my set where I was shooting, and I was just watching it over and over again. It just wasn't looking right. So I jumped on my bicycle and I bicycled this half mile across Stone Street, leapt off the bike, ran into the stage. I sort of like threw off my shirt. I got Sam's shirt on.
Oh, you did it?
I grabbed the sword, and I just
Peter,
roll camera.
I am done with
So
you
the
forever.
Entry of Sam
That's
in
you?
that Shelob scene, saving Frodo, was actually me.
Because he didn't like the way the arm looked.
I love that. It's
He's like, this is not right. I'm gonna do it. I am outdone. Peter.
It's like the world's largest condom.
Elijah had to get wrapped up in this stuff, and he had to spend like all day in it.
Yeah.
I don't know how he went to the toilet, but he
Oh, that's a good point, huh?
to the toilet. Couldn't even stretch his nose.
They wrapped him up in that cocoon. It was rubbery and it was tight.
Oh, my
I don't
God.
think he could have gotten himself out of it. And he just, waited and
How did he go to the bathroom?
eventually.
What in the world?
Sean thought it was incredibly frightening and claustrophobic,
Yeah.
and thought, there's no way that I could have ever been wrapped up in web and felt comfortable. Surprisingly, it's really comfortable.
Really? That is a surprise.
I don't think I'd want to be in it all day though. Wake up!
He's reputed to be one of the world's great staring contest champions.
I guess I do have a strong ability to stare.
He's got these big, beautiful eyes, but he
Yeah.
can't see 2 feet in front of him in broad daylight.
Oh.
The great irony of Elijah is he has the biggest, bluest eyes
Right.
in the world, actually.
Right, okay.
And they don't work very well.
My theory is that
They don't work very
when he was
well.
a baby, because obviously you can't test a baby for how bad their eyes are. For the first couple of years, he was just like this, trying to focus on everything and bring his world into view. That it just stayed like that. So as he grew up, his eyes just stayed at this constant state of surprise.
What do I do now?
Yeah.
What do I do?
There was a video where I was like, dang, is this what? His eye seems bluer than usual, but it's good to see that everyone feels the same way, that he has these piercing eyes,
We get a bit of his eyes and stuff. We can still roll and just see what we get.
Okay, you guys, thank you for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and stop the editing for this particular set of videos right here, and we will continue on with part 2 of Cameras in Middle Earth next week. Okay, I really enjoyed myself. Of course, the one thing that really stands out is the fact that Sir Edmund Hillary, I didn't even know the name. It wasn't familiar to me, but he was one of the first men to climb Mount Everest, which is a really fantastical feat. You know what I'm saying? And so for just to see him with Peter Jackson sitting there and just kind of being, who said it? Was it Rick, where he said 2 titans together? You know what I mean? That was good. I really enjoyed that they added that in there. My goodness, this show, I'm telling you, these appendices, they just reveal so much to us. And it's such a delight, too. And it's such a surprise. I learned so much from watching this. So it turns out Sir Edmund Hillary is so famous that he's on the $5 bill. So I love that. I really did. And who was it? Andy Serkis. I was going to say Gollum, but Andy Serkis, he said, as a fellow mountaineer myself. So, he's climbing mountains and stuff. And so they were all just beside themselves with glee to meet him. And I can, I understand that. I really do. And just the fact that he wanted to be a part of this, making of the Fellowship of the Ring and all of that. I just love that they included that in there. They didn't have to do that. It's like they gave us a little extra gift. You know what I mean? I have to say that another thing that stands out for me was Peter Jackson and his cameos. I do not recall anyone pointing out the fact that Peter Jackson was in the movies, all 3 of them. He had a cameo in all 3 of the movies. So I'm sure someone had to have mentioned it. It's just been so long since I've been watching these appendices. And in the very beginning, this was before I had developed this strong crush on Peter. So even if someone had mentioned it, I didn't even really know what Peter looked like. You know what I mean? I didn't know much about him. I just was so into Lord of the Rings. And I was like, who is this Peter Jackson person? And who is, directing this? And then all of a sudden I just started slowly but surely falling in love after the weeks and weeks and weeks of watching this documentary. So just to see Peter in these cameos, it just felt fresh, like I had never seen him before, in these roles, and I just loved it. I loved his acting, him acting wounded and falling over, and the fact that he is such a perfectionist. Let me tell you something. He didn't even like the way the hand was appearing in the screen, so he jumped on his bicycle and rolled all the way over so that he could do it the right way. Listen, I don't understand his tactics, but they worked. You know what I'm saying? They worked. Being a perfectionist worked for Peter in this case, I have to say. Because he sure pulled off a miracle with all three of these movies, let's say. I mean, we can't stress that enough. What else happened in this video? Those two things just really stood out to me. Oh, also I thought it was really interesting, just very peculiar, the fact that it hadn't occurred to me, but they can't actually have the horses right next to the actual open flame, the fire and all of that. The horse is not going to stand for that, of course. And so they literally it was like smoke and mirrors, to where the fire was appearing through a mirror, and the way that it was appearing on camera, it looked like it was actually right next to the horse, and it wasn't the whole entire time. And there were no special effects. It was just literally just camera angles. How remarkable. How remarkable was that? Good for them. They're so clever. You know what I'm saying? To come up with this. Let's see. There was something else that I wanted to mention. Oh, it's not a big deal, but I'm just glad someone else mentioned the fact that Elijah's eyes are so blue. That is just outrageous, because there was a video where I was like, is it me, or is his eyes just bluer than usual? But everyone, it feels the same way. Okay, so that's interesting. That's just a strange thing. I don't even know if I could, I haven't really come across anyone with eyes that look like that. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine, having to sit and talk to someone for hours with eyes like that? What in the world? Wow. It's like you would just fall into their eyes, their soul. Let's see, what else? I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up here. And I will continue on with more of Cameras in Middle Earth next week. All right. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, let's flow.